Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Ron Mackenzie LaFergie. The X-Men are awesome. They're some of the most popular characters in the Marvel Universe, and with so many films in the last 15 years, everyone has at least some knowledge of the team. But there are a lot of other versions that people may be less aware of. So get ready, because here are the top 10 alternative versions of the X-Men. Number 10. The Rex Dogs. The Universe Rex version of the X-Men are the Rex Dogs. Get it? Because they're dogs, not men. In case the picture or names didn't tip you off, this is a universe where the characters are anthropomorphic dog versions of themselves. We see Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, even Professor X, or Professor Rex. Not gonna lie, this comic has some of the worst puns I've ever seen, but it was a pretty strange and interesting story. And the dog version character designs were actually pretty sick. Number 9. X-Women. After Buzz and the chimpanzee Bubbles try to sterilize the human population using a blank-O ray, they're stopped by the X-Men of Earth 1007. But in the process of stopping the evil duo, the genders of the X-Men got swapped. Because reasons. The story itself clearly started with the concept of let's swap all the genders, because it just comes off as super forced. But forced or not, it's actually really cool to see versions of our favorite X-Men as the other sex. Although with all the talk of gender spectrums nowadays, I'm not sure this storyline will be quite as acceptable. Also, question, because I couldn't decide, which is better, calling them X-Women because the men turned into women, or calling them X-Men with an EX since it used to be men? Let me know in the comments. Also, neither is a perfectly valid response. Maybe they're just both terrible and I'm not funny at all. Number 8. Professor Xavier's Secret Service. This was a really interesting version of the X-Men as we see them using their talents in significantly different ways. When the president is assassinated along with Magneto and Quicksilver, Professor X has to step up and become leader of the mutant nation Genosha. During this time, rather than being the crime-fighting, world-saving X-Men, the group began acting as Professor X's bodyguards and spies. With sleek black costumes, the X-Men play a much more relatable role in the world, and it's pretty cool. Number 7. X-Babies. With this trend of babyfying heroes that we've been seeing, writer Chris Claremont decided it'd be wise to do the same thing to the X-Men. First introduced when the villain Mojo created toddler-sized clones of the X-Men to show on his violent reality TV show, they've since been seen a number of times. Personally, I'm not a fan of doing something just because it's cute, but I gotta be honest, they're pretty freaking adorable. Wolverine is so cute, it's absurd. Oh, look at the little guy. Oh, you got little sharp things, huh? Oh, this scary little hero. Number 6. A-List X-Men. The Exiles comics brought together a bunch of characters from different dimensions, and these dimensions were often really neat. This was the case for the member Mimic, who has the power to copy the knowledge, skills, and powers of anyone near him. In Mimic's universe, rather than being cast-outs, mutants are loved as celebrities. Mimic takes full advantage of this with the ladies, and who can really blame him? It's nice to see the mutants actually getting recognition in that world. It always bugs me to see such great heroes stuck being pariahs. Number 5. Nazi X-Men. Yep, turns out that pretty much every superhero group has a Nazi version. In Excalibur number 6, the group visits Earth 597. They find a world where the Nazis had won World War II, and many of our favorite characters are evil Nazis. The Earth 597 version of Excalibur is called Lightning Force, and while they're very similar to our heroes, they're darker and more disturbing. This was a novel way to do the whole Nazi thing. Rather than being over the top and kind of corny, the X-Men Nazi story is actually pretty dark, with Charles Xavier acting as a Nazi scientist creating mutants with evil experiments. I gotta be honest here, I of course hate Nazis, but I love me some Nazi universes. It's just so neat. Number 4. X-Men 1602. In Neil Gaiman's miniseries 1602, we saw a bunch of Marvel characters reimagined in the year 1602. I've touched on it a few times, but the X-Men are some of the coolest characters in this series. We see the original 5 X-Men, Iceman, Cyclops, Beast, Angel, and Jean Grey, as well as Professor X and Magneto, all with different names and backgrounds. It's a cool take with mutants being considered witch breeds, as they probably would be back then. Carlos Xavier, Charles Xavier, has a college for the sons of gentlefolk, and Magneto is fittingly leading the Spanish Inquisition, hunting these witch breeds, of which he is one, as Grand Inquisitor Enrique. Olé! Number 3. Age of Apocalypse. This was a really neat story that took place in an alternative timeline. When Professor X was killed by the time-traveling Legion, mutant, it brought about an alternate timeline in which Magneto came to believe in the Professor's dream of peaceful coexistence between mutants and humans. In this version, Magneto is the leader of the X-Men, and fights against the conquering Apocalypse, who's taken over the world and made mutants a ruling class. This was a really cool story with a bunch of interesting differences from the original world, and it was pretty epic, especially since it's so satisfying to see Magneto on the right side of things. Number 2. House of M. In the House of M miniseries, we saw the world recreated by the powerful but unstable Scarlet Witch. In this world, inhabited by members of the New Avengers and the X-Men, we see our heroes living out their heart's desires, at least for a time. It was such a great storyline for so many reasons. There were interesting character changes, we get to see the New Avengers and the X-Men working together, and it led to the highly important Decimation storyline, after Scarlet Witch sees the evil Magneto's done and says, "No more mutants," causing mutants around the world to lose their powers, including Professor X and Magneto. Number 1. Earth X. This was a really awesome version of X-Men set in a dystopian future where pretty much all humans were granted special powers, and when everyone's super, nobody is. This sounds like a really awesome and interesting world, right? Well, it kinda is, but it's also not that great. A fat alcoholic Wolverine is in an unhappy relationship with Madeline Pryor masquerading as Jean Grey. Colossus is the Tsar of Russia for some reason. A failed experiment by Reed Richards destroys the vast majority of telepaths. It's a rough, dark world, but it's really interesting and cool to see Cyclops heading up the X-Men as Mr. S.
Mr. F.
No, Mr. S. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, show us some love by liking and subscribing to Top 10 Nerd. Hit me up in the comments if I left out your favorite version. With so many X-Men universes, there's plenty to talk about, so let me know if you'd like a part 2, and if I missed your favorites, I can remedy that. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie LaFurgey with Top 10 Nerd. Later, nerds.